Today, we are talking about a very common yet crucial mistake that many NRIs make when renting out their property here in India. And trust me, you don't want to be caught on the wrong side of this issue. Many tenants are obviously not aware of this, but at the same time, NRI landlords also are not informed about this. Now, let me share a real world scenario that came across to my desk recently. An NRI with a beautiful residential property in Mumbai renting it out at 90,000 rupees a month to a salaried professional. Sounds very straightforward, right? Well, here's where the things get tricky. Now, this property owner did something that might seem innocent but could lead to serious tax complications. They mentioned their Indian address and PAN in the lease agreement. But, and here's the critical part, they didn't disclose their NRI status to the tenant. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal in this? Let me break this down for you. Under the Indian tax law, there is a significant difference in how TDS or tax deducted at source is handled for NRI property owners. Here is a crucial detail. If you are an NRI, the TDS on the rental income that you receive should be deducted at 30%. Yes, you heard it right. 30% plus the surcharge and cess as per the Income Tax Act. But in this case, the tenant only deducted a TDS at 5%, which is typically applicable for residential property owner who is an Indian resident. This seemingly small oversight creates a massive tax shortfall and could lead to some serious consequences. So let's talk about who's at fault here. First, the tenant could be considered an assessee in default for not deducting the correct amount of TDS. They might face interest payment and penalties for this shortfall. Now, as the NRI property owner, you are also not off the hook either. When you file your Indian tax returns, you are responsible for declaring the full rental income. The difference between the 5% TDS deducted and the actual 30% requirement becomes your additional tax liability. And if you haven't paid the advance tax for this differential amount, you will be slapped with the interest under the section 234B and 234C. One thing to note here is that requirements to deduct TDS on rent paid to NRIs wasn't always the case. It was introduced in the budget 2017. This means that tenants who have rented out properties from NRI landlords would not have to deal with this TDS situation before. So what should you be doing? But before I come to that, if you find this video helpful, please share it with your NRI groups so that most of the NRIs can be aware about this. So if you're an NRI and have a tenant at your property, disclose your NRI status upfront. By doing this, you ensure that correct TDS rates are applied, protecting you both and your tenant from potential legal and financial complications. When it comes to taxes, even a small mistake can lead to a mountain of paperwork, penalties, and stress later on. It's about being proactive, not reactive. Also, in my personal experience, once the assessing officer finds out that an NRI has made a tax filing mistake, they pursue it with most keen interest. As someone who is guiding NRIs for more than a decade now through their financial journeys, I can't stress enough how important this will be for you. My advice is, have an open, honest discussion with your tenant. Disclose and explain your NRI status, the tax implications, and work together to ensure the smoothest compliance. It's not about following the law, it's about maintaining a smooth, transparent relationship with your tenant and protecting your own financial interests. If you're still not sure, feel free to search about the TDS rates on rental income for NRIs online, or maybe consult your existing chartered accountant also for this. If you find this video helpful, drop a comment below, share your experiences and let me know if your tenant is or is not deducting the TDS or at the right amounts, or whether have you declared your own NRI status to your tenant or not. If you know any other NRI who might benefit from this video, please share this with them. I'll see you in the next video.